Yeah, so I think the most important thing to understand about blood pressure measurement is that it is really changing. Blood pressure is changing every second of the day. And so what you want to have is a sort of more comprehensive snapshot. And so automated office blood pressure is a modality that clinicians use in the office, but it is only able to provide single readings. And so what we've done with the ambulatory blood pressure monitoring template and platform is enable clinicians to use ambulatory monitoring, which is a 24-hour measurement test, much more effectively. The biggest issue there is the cost of the devices. So ambulatory monitoring is quite costly. Another issue is that the software is very cumbersome to use. And the third issue is it's very difficult to manipulate the final study in order to get it to where it needs to go. And these are the steps that our software is successful in helping clinicians and technicians who are doing the test perform the test better. So what happens with our platform is it steps people through the best practice for doing ambulatory monitoring. And in addition, it provides an auto interpretation. Plus, we integrate into electronic health records. And so for all of these reasons, the testing is much more efficient. And because it's more efficient, then more cost effective. The other problem with ambulatory monitoring across the world is that it is often not reimbursed, and that can be a big barrier. So like anything in academia, you kind of follow the people in front of you. So I've been lucky enough to have really great mentors. I've done a fair amount of work in Canada nationally for blood pressure control and blood pressure measurement. And so then it was natural when I finished that work to reach out to try to do some more stuff internationally. I wouldn't say that I'm a very important piece of either World Hypertension League or PAHO by any means. I'm just a marginal supporter compared to the people leading those organizations. And they are great organizations. They're doing great work. In fact, the president of the World Hypertension League is based in China, and she's doing fantastic things. But what I've done is basically offered my time when needed. And so, unfortunately, not a lot of people in the world have expertise in blood pressure measurement. It's kind of a niche area. It doesn't really interest a lot of people. So by that, in that context, I'm one of a few people in the world that focuses in this field. In addition, I'm a little bit unique in the sense that I have clinical practice. So I'm a practicing clinician. I see a lot of patients. I still do a lot of clinical work. Plus, I am an academic. So I've done a lot of academic research and clinical practice guideline work. And then I also, I don't know why, but it happened this way in my life that I ended up being an entrepreneur as well and doing commercialization work. And so I kind of see the spectrum of all of these different things from clinical practice to academic to commercialization. And that sometimes gives me a really unique perspective. And so that's why I think I have been asked in some cases to help because of the perspectives I bring to blood pressure care and clinical care, et cetera. The thing I'm most proud of, I'll end by saying, is working with PAHO in Cuba. We helped train academics there in that country to be able to do validation studies. And it's an interesting country. They're doing some great things, actually. They manufacture their own blood pressure monitors for domestic use, and they, I think, do a great job. And so now they're going to be able to do some validation of their own devices. So I think, to export that knowledge and train the trainer, so to speak, and then see it grow after that, and see the people that came after you become experts and push that knowledge forward and on to others. It's quite rewarding. So I have a little bit of I think we're good. So I think, so first of all, I think for being a nascent journal, you're all doing a great job. I mean, there certainly is a lot of enthusiasm around the journal, and Stefano, Dr. Ombani is doing a fantastic job encouraging his colleagues, including me, to support and submit papers. I think that's probably the most important thing, is you need an editorial board and group of collaborators and colleagues that have some enthusiasm around the journal and what it's trying to do. I will say, when Dr. Ombani asked me to be part of this journal, I do get a fair number of requests, as many people do who are sort of more senior in the academic field. This one intrigued me personally because he personally asked me, and he's a big name in the field. But secondly, I could see and sense his enthusiasm, and that really makes a big difference. The other thing about the journal that I think is nice, and I would encourage to continue and makes for a different kind of journal, is to encourage people like me to publish maybe different kinds of things. So getting back to the topic at hand, which is the article we wrote on our ambulatory blood pressure monitoring platform, that's not a paper I would write for a conventional journal in many ways, simply because it's more of a perspective, but it's description of something new. And sometimes that can be very difficult to get reviewers to agree to publish, unfortunately. So people want, hardcore scientific work, or they want something safe. But I think when you just want to show the rest of the world what you are doing, and hopefully find people with like-minded interests, and also people who want to collaborate, that's the reason we wrote this paper, to describe the platform that outlines ways to improve ambulatory blood pressure monitoring. And really, we're doing it in mostly launched in Canada. It's very gratifying to see that, and it's nice to be able to share it. So I think, when we look forward with Connected Health, getting engaged, enthusiastic contributors is really the key.